Nick was in the doctor's office, and after a short discussion, he was asked to step on the scales. The moment of truth, Nick thought to himself. He stepped on the scales and closed his eyes. 2 weeks earlier, Nick first consulted a doctor about his obesity. Prior to that, he made many excuses not to do it. While he knew that he needed to do something about his weight, he was afraid. One day, he was at the park with his daughter, and she suggested that they play tag. As his daughter started running, Nick tried to keep up, but unfortunately, he couldn't. This was a real eye-opener for Nick. He knew that he had to do something about it. He realized how his obesity was keeping him from reaching his goals in life, including his capacity to be there and support his family in all aspects. Just as they got home, he immediately searched for a doctor. When he found one, he booked an appointment and picked the earliest available time slot. The dreaded day came and Nick was ready. The doctor performed an initial patient workup based on medical history and physical examination. She recorded his body measurements, indexes, and then she asked Nick to step on the scales. He stepped on the scales and closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes, he saw some big numbers and he got really worried. Doctor explained that he had to lose 70 pounds to reach a healthy weight range, then suggested that a healthy diet as well as exercise are amongst the things that would help him the most. Upon arriving home, Nick set out to achieve his new goal. He remembered that doctor said that he should be able to lose 10 pounds per month. So he wrote in his notebook, lose 70 pounds in 7 months. He decided that he was going to eat healthy and exercise his way to a healthy new Nick. For many years now, he was mostly sedentary. Having to change his old habits, Nick was navigating uncharted territory. Nick loved junk food. It was his treat to himself whenever he felt happy, and was his coping mechanism when he was feeling down. But with his new obsession and goal, this will all change. The next day, he woke up at 5 a.m. He walked in the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror, thinking to himself, can I really achieve this goal? To start off, he decided to go for a jog. However, he was out of breath in just a few minutes. Because of this, he went home to take some rest before going to work, postponing his exercise regimen to tomorrow. And while he ate a healthy breakfast, he saw his favorite fast food during his lunch break, so he decided to treat himself. He thought that he could make it up by preparing an extra healthy dinner. The next day, he woke up at 5 a.m. again. Even though he only jogged for a few minutes yesterday, his muscles were aching. Nick was really busy that day and failed to prepare a meal for himself, and instead ordered some junk food. Before he slept that night, he thought about how he was procrastinating instead of taking action towards his goals. This made him feel disappointed with himself. That moment, he felt that he needed a strategy to help him really start the journey towards achieving his goals. He did a Google search to find some answers. Nick found the article that suggested that positive affirmations can have a huge influence. Next morning, he walked in the bathroom and looked at the mirror while thinking to himself, I can do this. Moments later, he went for a jog at the park. After that, he prepared a healthy breakfast. Nick also made sure to eat healthy meals during the day instead of resorting to junk food. After work, he went for a short trip to the gym before going home. It was an A for effort. He was proud of himself. In the coming days, he tried his best to incorporate exercise and healthy diet in his lifestyle. For the first time, Nick felt motivated. Slowly, he started to feel stronger every day. Unlike before, when he would often feel sluggish, he noticed that he felt refreshed and had more energy to do his daily tasks. At the same time, his aches and pains began to lessen. He was losing weight and he felt good about it. As always, when things are going well, something unexpected is about to happen. Nick was working towards the promotion for the last couple of months. And today, he found out from his boss the bad news, as one of his colleagues was selected for the promotion. And this really broke Nick's spirit. He became inconsistent with his training routine. Instead of waking up early, Nick would sleep in and only wake up when it was time to go to work. He also lost his interest in cooking and started to consume a lot of junk food. After checking his weight a few weeks later, he realized that he was back to where he started. He felt like a failure. One day, as Nick was sitting on a bench at the park, he saw a familiar face. It was the guy who he always saw whenever he went jogging. He looked fit and healthy, and Nick admired how he seemed so consistent and determined in his exercise regimens. So Nick walked up to the man, introduced himself, and invited him for a coffee at a park cafe. In the middle of their conversation, Nick mentioned how he was struggling with inaction in terms of achieving his goal of losing weight and becoming healthy. Ben told Nick that he was also in a similar situation a few years ago. Back then, he was also on the heavy side and was feeling frustrated with his situation. He tried different ways to lose weight, but nothing seemed to work. Thankfully, he found out about the concept called implementation intention. He described that when people set goals, they would often focus only on the outcome instead of the steps needed to achieve it. For those who are trying to lose weight, for example, if you just write it down and hope for the best, you are more likely to procrastinate or postpone it to a later time. When you apply the concept of implementation intention, however, you should ask yourself questions such as, what kind of workouts to do? How long workouts will last? When to perform them? Aha, thought Nick, this sounds like a great strategy. He decided there and then to apply this strategy to help him achieve his goal. When he got home, he started to map things out. First, he planned out his exercises. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, he would jog for 15 minutes before he goes to work. On Wednesdays, he would go for a 1-hour walk after work. And on Saturdays, he would do a 30-minute HIIT session in the first part of the day and do a 5-kilometer walk in the woods in the afternoon. Once he finished his exercise plan, he then planned out his diet. He would prepare healthy meals for the next week during weekends. He would prepare his meals by making sure that he doesn't exceed his caloric intake. He would manage his craving for junk food by allowing himself one cheat meal per week. In the coming weeks and months, Nick followed this schedule religiously. Day by day, he felt great. He was feeling healthier and stronger. Whenever he would go on the weighing scale, he was happy to see that he was making much progress and was reaching his monthly milestones. 7 months in, and it was time to check with the doctor if Nick had reached his weight loss goal. Nick confidently stepped on the scale and was happy to see that he had lost 72 pounds and reached the healthy weight. That weekend, Nick and his daughter went to the park like they did before, but this time he was able to play tag. He had the best time with his daughter. Now, when he had achieved his weight loss goal thanks to the concept of implementation intention, Nick knew that it's not the end of the journey. The bigger task will be to maintain his healthy lifestyle, so he did something remarkable. He decided to register for a marathon that would take place in 9 months to keep up with his healthy habits.